How you doing, guys? What's going on? It's Tuesday. This is where we talk about money, finances, where we give you information, education to help you make the best financial and investment decisions possible. Welcome back to the channel. If you're a subscriber, if you're new, welcome. Please consider subscribing. This channel will help you immeasurably if you're looking to learn how to invest in the market and stay safe whilst doing it. This week, I am going to be talking about DIY investing and addressing a question that I often get on Instagram. So it typically goes along the lines of, Pete, I'm new. I really want to kind of be involved with the investing process. Do I need help? Can I really do this on my own? What do I need to know? So I'm going to be giving you 5 tips that I think are really, really important to do 2 things. First and foremost, keep you safe. Secondly, to stack the odds in your favor so you don't get taken by scam artists and you don't stumble across information that is going to be detrimental to you and your investment journey. So, with that said, we're going to jump right in to tip number 1. Now, with everything in life, it's really important to have some basic foundational knowledge when it comes to anything that you're venturing into, be that business, be that a new occupation, be that a new career, be that a new venture. You have to have some foundational knowledge. Investing is no different. I think it was Warren Buffett's business partner who said that people are completely and utterly aware that they cannot run Usain Bolt 100-meter times because it's virtually impossible. That man is, number one, genetically gifted, and he trained for years to be able to do that. People know that you can't replicate Usain Bolt performance. However, people do think that investing in the market is so simple that anybody could do it and you could be a millionaire overnight. And it's the reason why some of these absolute rascals are making so much money here on social media. In 2018, there were 3,385 financial investment scams, totaling a loss of £50.1 million here in the UK. This is big business. So understanding the fundamentals is absolutely crucial. So where do you begin? First and foremost, you need to understand the terminology. So when we start talking about things like equity, stocks, bonds, diversification, asset classes, asset allocation, you need to understand what those things mean. Even if it is the case of you know what it means, but you're going to ignore it, you understand what those terms mean. So getting a grip on the lingo is really, really important. And you know what? There's great news. You can Google every single one of those and get an answer in about 10 seconds flat, depending on how quick your browser is. But this information is very, very easy to come by. The next thing you need to understand when it comes to gaining a foundational knowledge is that you have to try and source information from reputable sources. Yes, there are lots of scam artists out here selling you dreams, selling you utopia, and they will happily take your money. So getting information from a reputable source is really important, but it's also important for another reason as well. Oftentimes, and I see this a lot, and this is a natural thing, you are going to have this when it comes to content creators here on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, on IG, on TikTok even. There's plenty of people over there too. You're always going to have a personal opinion or bias or lean on the information that you're getting. But the most important thing is that you're able to get factual information that isn't necessarily tarnished by that, or at least someone who speaks to you in that language. Because oftentimes, personal biases, personal preferences means that a person has a certain persuasion towards an investment strategy or the kind of investor they are that may not necessarily suit you. And that could be for a number of reasons. It could be personal circumstances. You don't know whether the person that you're getting this information from has got £250,000 sat in cash and can afford to take a huge amount of risk. So understanding and getting reputable information that is factual is really, really important. And I say that to say this next thing, which I'm sure is going to be hugely controversial, but I don't care. But it has to be said. And I'm going to use Grant Cardone here as an example. Grant Cardone is common for believing that residential property and taking out a mortgage for a residential property is a bad move. He believes you never should do that. But it's really important to understand the context to his conversation and the context around his personal circumstances and why he thinks it's not necessarily a good thing. It's a waste of money. There are parts of Rich Dad Poor Dad which talk to this same message, that residential property is a liability and not an asset. Now, that's all very well if you are a millionaire with businesses or other properties in the background. So, for example, Grant Cardone. We all know he's got 10x, he's got a very, very successful business. He does not need to own a residential property because he's got so much net worth elsewhere. If you are a normal person here in the UK who isn't a millionaire, who isn't in that tax bracket, then a lot of your net worth is going to be tied up in your residential property. And I'm seeing younger people now read these books and say residential property is a complete waste of time. It is not. If you own property in places like London, for example, then it's very, very likely you're going to be a property millionaire. If you're lucky enough to get on the property ladder in London, then it is very, very likely that at some stage in your life, you are going to be a property millionaire or close to a property millionaire. Now, the beauty is that with property, residential property, whilst it is a liability, is also an asset, because when you come to retire at some stage in your life, which you will, you have an asset that you would have paid down that you can liquidate and use for retirement purposes. So it's really, really important, guys, when you're listening to gurus, taking knowledge from gurus, please take what they're telling you with a pinch of salt. They are in a completely different tax bracket to you. The investment strategies that they're thinking of may not necessarily be applicable to you. So please take it with a pinch of salt. Now, lastly, on knowledge, there are many ways in which you can gain knowledge. You can go to events, you can get coaches, you can read books, you can watch videos. You're watching this right now, picking up some knowledge from me. You can attend courses. Whatever medium you decide to use, make sure that, again, you're trying to get it from a reputable source, and take the time to invest the time to gain that knowledge and money if you need to as well. Because let's face it, if you are going to be investing your hard-earned cash, you also want to invest the time to make sure you have the foundation to know what it is that you're doing. You've heard me speak about this so many times, and I feel like I'm a broken record, but I'm going to say this yet again. As a first-time investor, you have to understand what your goal is. You have to be very, very clear on it. You have to know what time you're working towards. So you might be looking to purchase a house and you need a house deposit in 3 years' time or 5 years' time. You need to know when you need to meet your goal. You have to have a target for your goal. And you also need to understand what level of risk you are willing and able to take. Now, this is crucial because if you're investing for 10 years, let's just say you're saving for kids' school fees, which is 10 years away, you can afford to take more investment risk than if you're purchasing your house, your first home, in 3 years' time. So understanding the dynamic between the two is absolutely crucial. Fundamentally, your goal, your timeline is going to dictate how you invest, where you invest, how aggressively you invest. So having this out is the foundation to everything. It's like getting in the car. I live in Shropshire. I want to go to Exmouth. I've never been to Exmouth. And me just jumping in the car and just heading down the M54 and not knowing what connecting roads I need to take to get to Exmouth. I would use my sat nav. My sat nav would give me my plan. But the goal, the objective is I need to get to Exmouth. The sat nav plots the route. The same thing applies when you're investing. Your goal, your objective will plot the route that you take towards your objective and within the timeline that you allocate as well. This is often missed. This is often too many times missed. Oftentimes people will invest in the market saying they want to be rich. Well, rich means different things to different people. For some people, it is Jeff Bezos money. For other people, it isn't measured in money. It's measured in things that they do in life. So you need to have a clear goal, something that is tangible, something that means something to you. Picking your provider is going to be a really important part of this process. Now, I've done a number of reviews here on this channel where I've reviewed Moneybox, Wealthify, Plum, Nutmeg, and there are so many providers out there. There's Trading 212, there's Free Trade, there's Hargreaves Lansdown, there's Vanguard, there's Fidelity. Which one do you choose? Now, with all of my reviews, I started them with one simple fact that is crucially important. You have to make sure that they have two things in place. First and foremost, they're authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. And number two, they have to be giving you some protection under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Those two things are non-negotiable. Beyond that, then you need to start looking at expertise. Has this company been around long enough? Do they have the skills, the expertise to help you achieve your goal? So for example, you're saving for your first house, you need the money out in 3 years. Can they provide any kind of track record to show that they've made good investment returns, good investment decisions in the past? And although past performance is no indication to future performance, it will give you a good idea of what their track record has been. Beyond that, you also need to have a look at cost. And people talk a lot about costs here on YouTube, and cost is very, very important. If you're a first-time investor, you don't want to be paying exorbitant fees, right? You don't want to be paying too much because it's essentially going to reduce your total return over the course of your investment journey. So trying to find something that is going to be low cost is very, very important. And again, on Tuesday, I spoke about index funds. So I explained mutual funds, index funds, and ETFs. Go and watch that video because index funds are extremely cheap and they allow you to invest for saturation, i.e. they allow you to invest £100 a month and get ownership shares in 50 different businesses. It's a very, very easy way to access the market at a relatively low cost. So cost is also very, very important. But you need to bear in mind that you need to do your research with providers, customer services, financial strength. All those things are key things that I would look at as a financial advisor, and you should definitely take into consideration when you're looking at a business, right? Really, really important. And I know some of the new age providers out here at the moment are not very good when it comes to speaking over the phone, but these should be in your consideration. You don't want to invest money with someone that is a nightmare to get hold of if things go wrong, and things could go wrong. You never know. So do your research and be diligent when you're picking your provider. Rome wasn't built in a day, guys, so please bear in mind that this is a continual process. You're not going to generate wealth overnight. And as technology progresses, as things change, it's really, really important to go on that journey of continual education. Why? Because that continual education is only going to expand not just your knowledge, but your experience of what to look for, how to spot opportunities, how the markets work, trends, all these kind of things. Those are crucial to your investment journey. You will spot opportunities in the future that now are completely oblivious to you. And not only is it going to just give you experience, it's going to give you confidence in the markets as well. It's going to help inform what you basically do. And you know, one thing that I always lead with here on this channel, you see it on my videos every time you watch, is the idea that money is a tool. And this really speaks to, you know, having a goal and the timeline and understanding your risk. You know, this continual education is going to help your plan, right? Being able to identify opportunities, being to help you navigate life, knowing that you can understand how the markets work to help you achieve the things that you really want to achieve in life. It is okay buying houses and buying beautiful cars, but it's all about fulfillment. And this continued education is only going to help you identify opportunities to really help you live a fulfilled life. So this last point is also quite an important one, because life is meant to be lived, and it's meant to be lived under fulfillment. Having an ongoing financial plan that can flex, that can change, that can adapt with you is going to serve you really, really well as technology improves, as markets become more and more volatile, as new things pop into the markets, new opportunities. Having an ongoing financial plan that will change across the years and help you achieve your life goals is going to be absolutely invaluable to you. And guys, this is going to give you or help you create purpose for life and help you reach milestones that you never thought were possible. And just having a plan just having a plan can help you achieve wonders. So whilst this is the last tip on this list of 5, please take it with the way that it is intended. An ongoing plan, an ongoing financial plan is really going to add value to you in the long run for all of the reasons that I've mentioned in the past 4 tips. So guys, what are your thoughts? Are you a DIYer? Are you new to investing? Have you found any of that useful? Let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts? Drop me a message on IG if you think this is useful as well. If you have any further questions, I'd really love to know your thoughts. But guys, thank you so much for listening and being here. If you've not listened to the podcast, the artwork is right there. Make sure you go and check it out. Until Friday, I'll catch you later on.